Last year, a study tracked over 6,000 EV owners across the US. Same cars, same mileage, completely different battery health after 5 years. The ones with the worst degradation weren't the aggressive drivers. They weren't the ones using fast chargers on road trips. They were the ones who plugged in every single night and let the car charge to 100%. The most damaging EV habit isn't the road. It's happening in your driveway while you sleep. And right now, most owners are doing it without even knowing it. Why overnight charging isn't always harmless. Here's the thing most EV owners don't realize. Plugging in at night feels responsible. It feels like you're taking care of your car. And in some ways, you are. But the way you charge while you sleep matters just as much as whether you charge at all. Most people treat overnight charging like charging a phone. Plug it in, walk away, wake up to a full battery. Simple, harmless, routine. But your EV battery isn't a phone battery. It's a large, complex electrochemical system that responds, for better or worse, to voltage levels, temperature, and how long it sits at a high state of charge. And overnight, your car is sitting completely still for 6, 8, 10 hours. Whatever state you leave it in, it stays in that state for the entire night. That's where the damage quietly adds up. Not dramatically, not in ways you'll notice tomorrow morning, but over months and years. The wrong overnight charging habits shave real miles off your range and real years off your battery's useful life. Let's go through exactly what those habits are. Never charge to 100% every night. This is the single most common overnight charging mistake, and it's being made by the majority of EV owners right now. Charging your EV to 100% every night keeps the battery at its maximum voltage state for hours at a time. And at the chemical level, that stress is real. Lithium-ion cells, the type used in NMC chemistry, found in the most longer-range EVs, experience accelerated degradation when held at peak voltage. The internal structure of the cells faces elevated stress at full charge, and the longer they sit there, the more that stress compounds. Think of it like inflating a balloon to its absolute maximum capacity and leaving it that way overnight, every night. The balloon technically holds, but the material weakens faster than if you had left a little room. LFP batteries, lithium iron phosphate, found in some budget and entry-level EVs, are more tolerant of regular full charges. In fact, manufacturers like BYD and some Tesla-based model configurations actually recommend reaching 100% occasionally with LFP to calibrate the battery management system. But even with LFP, sitting fully charged for hours at a time adds unnecessary stress over the long run. Most EV owners with NMC batteries, the sweet spot is 70 to 80% for daily charging. That's not an extreme recommendation. That's what manufacturers quietly suggest in their own documentation, even if they don't put it on a billboard. Tesla, for example, sets the default charge limit at 80% for a reason. Hyundai and Kia actively recommend not exceeding 80% for daily use. Nissan Leaf owners have watched their battery capacity drop noticeably faster when charging to 100% routinely. This isn't theory. This is documented, observed real-world behavior. The fix is simple. Set your daily charge limit to 80%. Only push to 100% when you genuinely need the full range for a longer trip. Your battery will last longer, and you'll probably never notice the difference in daily driving. Never let your EV sit full for hours. Here's where it gets more specific, and more important for overnight charging in particular. The damage from charging to 100% isn't just about reaching full. It's about what happens after. Your car hits 100% at midnight, and then it sits there, fully charged, at maximum voltage, for the next 6 to 8 hours until you leave for work. That extended period of sitting at peak charge is where the accelerated aging really happens. Battery researchers call it calendar aging, degradation caused not by use cycles, but simply by time spent at high states of charge. Studies have shown that batteries sitting at 100% charge loses capacity faster than one that's regularly cycled between 20% and 80%, even when the total number of charge cycles is identical. Think about what that means for a typical overnight charging routine. If you plug in at 9 p.m. and your car finishes charging at 11 p.m., it's sitting at 100% for 8 hours before you touch it. That's 8 hours of unnecessary electrochemical stress every single night. The solution isn't complicated. It's called scheduled charging, and almost every modern EV already has it built in. Instead of your car charging from the moment you plug it in, you set it to finish charging right before you leave in the morning. So if you leave at 7:30 a.m., the car finishes its charge cycle at 7 a.m. It reaches your target charge limit, 80% or whatever you set, and you're walking out the door minutes later. Maximum freshness, minimum time spent at high voltage. This one change alone can meaningfully extend your battery's long-term health, and it costs you nothing. Before we go further, if you're getting value from this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. There's a lot more real-world EV ownership content coming that could save you serious money. Never ignore your car's smart charging feature. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Most EV owners never opened their car's charging settings. They plugged in on day one, the car charged, and they never looked back. That means no charge limit is set. The charge defaults to 100% every time. There's no scheduled charging, no departure timer, no off-peak hour optimization. Every built-in protection the manufacturer design goes completely unused. And the manufacturers have put serious effort into these tools. They exist precisely because engineers know what repeated fully chargers do to battery longevity. They built the protection in. They just can't force you to use it. Here's what almost every modern EV offers right now: a charge limit setting that lets you cap daily charging at 70%, 80%, or 90%, whatever you choose. A scheduled charging feature that delays the start or end of charging based on when you depart. A departure timer that combines scheduled charging with cabin preconditioning, so your car is at the right charge level and the right temperature when you leave. And in many cases, integration with your electricity provider to automatically charge during off-peak hours when rates are low. On a Tesla, you set the charge limit directly on the touchscreen or in the app. On a Hyundai Ioniq, it's the vehicle's charging menu. On a Chevy Blazer EV or any GM product, it's accessible through the My Chevrolet app. Every major platform has it. Most owners never touch it. Never assume slower charging is always better. This one is a myth that sounds logical enough that a lot of people just accept it. Slower charging is gentler on the battery. It's true in certain contexts. DC fast charging at high power levels does add more heat and stress than a slow level 2 charge at home. But the blanket assumption that slower always means better has led some EV owners into habits that actually create problems of their own. Here's what actually happens with extremely slow charging in specific conditions. In cold weather, level 1 charging, a standard 120-volt household outlet may not deliver enough power to both heat the battery and actually charge it at the same time. The car's thermal management system needs energy to bring the battery up to operating temperature. And on a very slow charge, that can eat into most all of the charging power available. You plug in overnight, wake up, and the battery is barely fuller than when you started. A level 2 home charger at 7.4 kilowatts doesn't just charge faster, it gives the car's thermal management system enough overhead to maintain battery temperature and charge efficiently at the same time. In cold climates, that's not just a convenience, it's a practical necessity. There's also the issue of charging equipment. Undersized cables, worn-out adapters, or outlet connections that aren't rated for continuous overnight loads creates heat at the connection point. That heat isn't doing your battery any favors. And in worst-case scenarios, it creates a fire risk at the outlet itself. Charging smarter means checking your equipment, not just slowing down the charge rate. The smart way to charge your EV overnight. Here's what an actually smart overnight charging routine looks like, distilled into the habits that matter most. Set a daily charge limit for 70% to 80%. For most drivers covering 30 to 50 miles a day, 80% is more than enough to handle the day comfortably with range to spare. Save 100% for days when you genuinely need it. Road trips, long travel days, unusual routes. Make 80% your default and 100% the exception. Use scheduled charging to finish close to departure time. Don't let the car sit full for hours. Set your departure time in the app or directly on the car, and let the charging system work backward from that. You'll leave with a fresh charge, and the battery will spend the minimum time at high voltage. Charge during off-peak hours, when your electricity provider offers them. In many regions, overnight electricity rates between midnight and 6 a.m. are significantly cheaper than daytime rates. Some providers cut rates by 50% or more during those windows. Your scheduled charging can automatically target those hours, saving money while also protecting the battery by keeping it from reaching full charge until just before you leave. Adjust your habits for extreme temperatures. In very hot weather, parking in shade and charging during cooler nighttime hours reduces thermal stress on the battery. In cold weather, use your car's preconditioning feature to warm the battery using grid power before you leave, not battery power. That way, you hit the road with both a charged and thermally ready battery, without burning range or heating. None of this takes more than a few minutes to set up. Once it's configured, it runs automatically every night. The truth about modern EV batteries. Modern EV batteries are genuinely impressive engineering. A well-maintained NMC battery pack can handle 2,000 to 3,000 full charge cycles before it reaches the point where range becomes noticeably compromised. An LFP battery can handle 4,000 to 6,000 full cycles. For their average driver covering 12,000 miles a year, that represents 20 to 40 years of ownership under ideal conditions. The battery almost certainly won't be your problem if you treat it reasonably well. But here's the reality that Tesla's own fleet data has confirmed with hundreds of thousands of vehicles. Long-term battery wear doesn't primarily come from driving hard. It doesn't come from occasionally fast charging. It comes from repeated small stressors during the times the car is parked, sitting at 100% for hours, charging to full every single night for years. Small inefficiencies are compounding quietly in the background. Overnight charging is where most EV owners spend the majority of their battery's idle time. It's also where the most impactful habits live. For better or for worse, the owners who end up with batteries that hold their capacity at 100,000 miles aren't doing anything extraordinary. They set up an 80% limit, schedule their charging, and let the car's built-in features do the rest. The owners who end up with degraded batteries and disappointed trade-in values did exactly what felt natural. They plugged in every night, let it charge to 100%, and never gave it another thought. Now you know better. Set the limit, schedule the charge, use the tools your car already has. Drop a comment below telling me what overnight charging habit you're changing first. And subscribe if you want more EV ownership content that actually makes a difference to your car and your wallet.